I'm in the home stretch, thankfully, because I'm about to do the 4 most chaotically created scrapbook pages, and you get to witness my entire process. Enjoy!
Last week on the Lazy Scrapbooker's next big project, I created my custom spines for the pair of albums and I completed just 5 new pages. But I did make time for 3 days of family fun on this year's baseball road trip, which I was glad to be a part of. And there were biscuits.
Hi, I'm Donna Guest, the Lazy Scrapbooker. Thanks for joining me on my next big project. We're going to plan, organize, and create a pair of scrapbooks to celebrate my husband and son's 15-day road trip, their baseball blowout. I'm unpacking my Creative Memories orders, and look what got here. 2 album cover sets I ordered for the project. I think they'll be perfect.
Jeff likes them too.
I have so many deadlines and so much to do, but there is nothing that will make me work on this project like this series, because unless I take a week off, I've got nothing to show you. So I'm going to get the next 2 pages done. But I do wish I could just take like a week and do absolutely nothing else and clean up and organize all my stuff. I've got such a mess and it's really starting to make me a little bit crazy. But I first got to go get some of my scrapbooking tools, because I have now set up a second scrapbooking table to work on a project playbook I'm doing for Creative Memories, and without disrupting what I'm doing for this project as well. So here's where we left off. I'm doing 4 pages on their Baltimore Orioles game. And as I determined a few days ago, I'm going to use black and orange cardstock for this one, as that's the team colors. Although that looks a little like Halloween right now. It looks like I have 1 nice strip left of the Creative Memories baseball paper, so I'm definitely going to mix that in. That will take the Halloween right out of this layout. I was going to split this up, but I think it loses a little bit of something if I cut this in half down the middle, because those baseballs are just, they're so beautiful. Look at that paper. So I think I'm going to put it there and have all the portrait pictures here, and then have all my landscape photos and postcard over here. So now just to work in maybe some black or orange photo mats and a little bit of black or orange to get the team colors in there without being too Halloween-y. So the other side of this baseball paper is really cool, really pretty stripes, but you know what? I don't think I've ever used it. For this page, I don't have really a lot of room to use for photo mats. I don't really need them, so I've just put my margin at 1/8 inch here. I may put a little tiny orange line here and here. I don't really know if there's enough room. And then I will put a 1/2 inch black strip down here. I'm wondering if I should move all these up and put an orange strip at the bottom, or move them down and put a larger orange strip up here at the top, just to add a little bit of color. I could leave them as they are. I know, I'm going to put one at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to trim these 2 pictures just a little bit. I can probably take a 1/2 inch off each, because there's really not a lot that I need to have up there. I like the way this turned out. And Nicholas just jumped violently on the table and shook everything. So no rules, doesn't matter how you put your stripes, but I kind of like that. I do love a nice pinstripe. It is kind of a masculine look, I think, in this boyish album that I'm trying not to make pretty, but just cool looking. So that looks great. So I did the right page first. Now I need to go back and do the left page. I should note, he's been fed all of his meals today. He's only telling me that he's sleepy and he wants to go to bed, but he can't do that on his own. I can't emphasize enough how spoiled this cat is. No, let's not knock tape runners off. Oh my gosh, he's knocking. There you go. I'm going to continue on with this pinstripe all the way across to give it some continuity until it gets to those baseballs over there. And I'm doing the same measurement, which is 3/8 of an inch. And if you hate fractions, I'll show you where it is. It's not marked on here, but 3/8 is going to be that first little line you see there, the first tick line on the ruler. That is 3/8. So I'm going to make 2 of those. I did a very helpful post on my Facebook and Instagram accounts that showed where to place your paper for little small measurements, starting at like, 1/8 of an inch and going forward. So that's on my Facebook and my Instagram. Pretty helpful. So I'm using the mini tape runner to attach these. I just love the mini tape runner. When you need to do something narrow like this, it is perfect. Okay, so that's a cool 2-page spread there. And we'll see what else we can add here and how it's going to go. What a beautiful ballpark. Wow, I said I was going to use a lot of cardstock. I'm really not coming through on that one. There's not a lot here, and I've got to leave room for journaling as well. I'm consulting the journaling here, and Jeff has all of this and all of this to go over 4 pages. That's a lot, and I just love that he journaled so much. That's fantastic. So I'm going to have to leave room for there. So there's really not any room for anything, cute or anything really colorful. But I think maybe I need to have this one with a photo mat, because that's the photo of my guys. So I'm going to mat this on orange, this postcard that they got at the game, and I've already put regular tape runner on the back of it. Then I went, oh, maybe it would be great to put in a peekaboo pocket, lift it up. No, turn it this way, and then I could have some journaling on the back. And then I could have another photo underneath and leave lots of room for Jeff's journaling. However, this is a weird size. It is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, which honestly I could probably cut down if I trimmed the white off to 4 by 6, but then it wouldn't look the same on the back. So you know what? Oh, I'm just gonna give up that kind of cool idea. Maybe. First, I'm gonna see if I can get the regular tape runner off. They got 2 postcards, but I already promised one to Nathaniel for his cool baseball room. So I don't want to take that back. Let's see what I can do here. I got as much as I could off with the multi-tool. There's not much it won't do. And now I have picked up the pickup square. So I am working on that. It's working. This one is perfect over here. This is the problem with being fast to make these decisions, that I get ahead of myself and then I think of something cute I might want to do, and then I've put adhesive all over something. So this is not the first time I've done something like this, but it is one of the most annoying to kind of fix. But the pickup square is working, and I gotta tell you, I think this is my original pickup square, I think, that I got back in probably like 2001 maybe. So I came in here to show Nathaniel the 2 cards because I, of course, told him he could keep one for his baseball room. And then I showed him the difference between the 2. And I said, it is totally your decision. Does it bother you if this one has a little bit of discoloration? And he said,
I honestly don't care one way or the other.
And he really doesn't. So I'm going to keep the perfect pristine card and give him the one that it looks like I almost ruined, but I really didn't. It's still a great piece of memorabilia. And we'll have to show you his baseball office later. It's pretty cool. So now Nicholas has settled himself in here with Nathaniel. So maybe I can get this finished. I just used the photo trimmer to carefully trim off the edges of this postcard. Now it's a perfect 4 by 6. And the back still looks great. It didn't really ruin it. And now I have an opportunity to use one of these peekaboo pockets that is open on this end, because we're going to fold it out this way, because I can't fold it up this way or it'll be upside down. So it'll go out this way. So I'm going to get my journaling on here before I do anything else. And I need to put game number, whatever this is. Is it game 9? I honestly can't remember. So I've printed my first page of journaling. I've got one more to go, but I need to do the next 2 pages before I do that. And I found what I have left of this cardstock. So, well, that's close, isn't it? It's not going to work. I'm going to have to do it down here. I'm going to try to mat both of these pieces of journaling. That is just unfortunate that I can't mat it with that. I can just trim a little bit off that edge, because I don't have any more of this color. I don't know what color this is or where I got it, but I don't have any more of it. Look how perfect that is. Wonderful. Now these are finished. I can put the page protector on and attach the brochure pocket. But these definitely had to be matted because that baseball paper is so busy. So I've wiped off my photos, and not that I needed to because they are matte finished. Wiped off both sides. Now I'm going to attach the page protector or insert the page into the page protector. A lot of people say they hate this part, but I love it because there's such a feeling of accomplishment here when you finally got it all together. I'm so messy. Look, this is the stuff for the next page. All right, so we've got that, and now we're going to peel off the back of this brochure pocket, and I'm going to attach it, whoops, right here at the edge, just on top of the page protector. And look, it is clear. Let's smooth out the bubbles. Even right here as I'm looking at it, I can barely tell it's there. Here's our nice little brochure in here if they want to get it, but I like how it's small enough and my red cardstock's perfect, so it just lies right on top of that. You don't even see this part of it. I love it. So now I can come over here and I can attach these two little tickets right here. And Babe Ruth Museum is done. That looks great. It was such a weird kind of configuration, but now I don't notice any of that. I just notice the great pictures, the story, and the memorabilia. And that's what it's all about. Ooh, the back of these brochure pockets, it's wax paper, so that would do in a pinch if you needed something for your repositionable tape runner, if you were doing something intricate, because the tape doesn't stick to this, which is why it's on the back of a brochure pocket. Okay, the last two pieces I printed on that sheet of paper before I do more journaling is my Game 10. It's Game 10. That answers that question. And then this first journaling that I'm going to put on the back of the postcard. So I'll just center it here, and I just cut it off at the end of a paragraph. That's why it's so little. Okay, so that's going to go into the peekaboo pocket, which is right here. We're going to go this way, and then we'll be able to open it, and there's the journaling, and there's going to be more journaling underneath. I just thought of one more thing that I wanted to put on this page, and it is this little baseball bat sticker. It looks very old. It's got some red in it. I think it's the perfect addition. Just noticed it on that set of stickers, but I don't know where it came from. Love it. That fits nicely. So here are the last two pages that I'm going to do for the Orioles game, but it's almost 1 a.m. and I've got to get up in the morning at a normal hour for an appointment, so I need to get to bed. This is going to have to wait until tomorrow because I want to make it look nice.
Hi everyone, I just want to give you a quick tour of my baseball room.
Since we moved here when Nathaniel was 9, this extra room became the playroom we always wanted. But now that over 10 years have gone by, it was not being used. So Jeff and Nathaniel worked to transform it into a baseball room, which we affectionately refer to as Nathaniel's baseball office.
These are my Braves All-Star posters from over the years. These are all my Braves pennants. These are all my Braves picture frames. This is an actual seat from Turner Field. This is the roster of the first professional baseball team I've ever seen, the Rome Braves single A team of the Atlanta Braves. This is my Hank Aaron wall, my favorite Braves player of all time. And this is my Chipper Jones picture.
The idea behind the room was a place for Nathaniel to get his cards out of his boxes. He loves baseball cards, and to have a place to just sit and look at his cards. His favorite Braves player of all time, Hank Aaron. My favorite Braves player of all time, I love Hank Aaron, but the one I grew up watching was Dale Murphy. Had a chance to meet Dale Murphy, and he actually signed this picture to Nathaniel because we met him at a game. The pictures, I didn't really obsess about lining all the pictures up and having them perfectly aligned and level. And a lot of that came from looking at scrapbooks. When they're all over the place, as long as they're neat, I think they look great. And that was the way we did all the pictures in this room.
This shows just how much they love this game and how much appreciation they have for its history. I've got to finish these scrapbooks for them.
I'm going to take some time this afternoon to work on the project, and my only goal for the project today is to finish the Baltimore Orioles game, which includes these two pages. This is where I left off last night, so we'll do these today, and then I can print out the journaling for all 4 pages. I don't know about you, but I get so sleepy every day around 3:30 in the afternoon. I always do. So instead of working at my desk, this will be a great way to stay awake. Because I never get sleepy scrapbooking, even in the middle of the night. If you're wondering why I'm trimming off the ends of all of these photos, this is just because they are Creative Memories prints, and since I use my phone as my camera, I use the digital size, which is 3:4 ratio. So it comes out with a print that is 4 by 5 3/8. 5 3/8. And so when Creative Memories prints these, they print them all on a 4 by 6 piece of paper, but it has the white edge on both ends. Now you can adjust it when you're ordering your photos and print to fit, as it's called, and it will print a 4x6. But when I do that, I don't always do that. When I do that, it's going to zoom in, it's going to crop something off, typically up here. Now there's some argument I could have cropped a little bit of this and had a 4x6, but I'm actually okay with it. I don't mind trimming this off, and I kind of like having a little bit smaller size because look how well they fit on the pages. I can mat them if I need to, so I don't mind that at all. Now this one I don't have to cut because it is a full 4x6, meaning that I probably adjusted it to fit. But something like this, I don't adjust because I want them and I want the full stadium that they took. For the sake of continuity, I'm going to cut 4 more of these 1/2-inch strips of the orange paper. This is the pumpkin colored paper, cardstock by Creative Memories. That will give me the continuity for this very simple design. And each of these pages looks to have 5 photos, so it's going to be full. It's really screaming for a block layout, isn't it? So I dug a little deeper in my baseball power project folder and look what I found. I thought yesterday that was all I had left of that cool baseball paper from Creative Memories. Now this is actually all that I have left. So there's a lot of it. These are kind of odd shapes. I think I cut them out when I was doing some kind of frame perhaps, and I definitely wanted to save them. Yeah, I was doing a 2-inch frame around it. And instead of, covering that up, I preserved them, and here they are. I remember doing that in one of my Facebook events. Now this one is a full 12 inches. So is this one. So I can work with that if I need to, or I can maybe do a block layout. I don't know. I've already put these orange pieces down as the borders, which I tend to do. I will go really quickly, and before I have a plan, I have put something down on paper. It happened yesterday. You were a witness. So I concentrated on my photos first, and I got all those attached, cropping a couple right here just to make sure they fit. So now I'm going to go measure and adjust the journaling, print that out, put it where it needs to go, and then I think I'm just going to finish this up with a simple block layout using that wonderful baseball paper. And I won't have to use very much of it. So as I was going to edit my journaling and print that out, I found out that I've made a mistake in the placement of these photos. It's hard when it's not your trip, when you weren't there. Instead of keeping them all in order, I just rearranged them how they looked good. And the last bit of journaling tells how they just wanted to take one last picture at Camden Yards, and one of the ushers told them it was closed, but then talking with Jeff, she agreed to let them back in. And that's the last thing I want to show, and that picture is right there. So that's the worst spot it could be in. It needs to be over here on the right page somewhere. So look how perfectly those fit there. Just look at that. I trimmed it down. I trimmed the photo. I don't know what to do now. I got to think about this one for a moment. Okay, I have successfully moved the picture down to where it belongs and had to crop this one even more, which it's not showing much behind it. It's showing the crowd, just not the buildings. I think that's okay. But I feel like these 2 pages are the equivalent when you just get a really bad haircut. I'm wondering if I should reprint these photos and start over, but I just don't want to do that. So I'm coming upstairs to feed Nicholas, and I notice there is what we call a goose party outside. Look at them. I think I count 18 of them. They're so beautiful. Goose party. I forgot about someone. He may actually be starving. Everything I needed to print fit perfectly on one piece of paper. So now I'll just trim down all this journaling, attach it, and finish it with a block layout. This is my favorite layout, and I'll put my link, if you've never seen it, to my tutorial video on how to create a block layout. I'm going to finish this final part with this black strip, but I did this, this, and this all from a scrap of paper that I really wouldn't have been able to use for anything else. And then I took one of the epoxy arrows from the Hit the Road embellishment pack, and that's a perfect way to point from this story to that photo. The photo I had to rearrange everything for. So now page 3 and 4 are done. So it's kind of unusual that I have this over here, but I don't have it over here, and I just don't care. These pages over here were kind of very asymmetrical as well. And now I'm going to put the page protector on so I can attach this peekaboo pocket to it. Oh, I could do something down here. I had not intended for this to be a block layout because it's clearly not. Maybe I'll just leave it as it is. These are the scraps I have left over for the one scrap piece I used, and I won't throw them away. You never know what I'm going to need them for. This paper is precious. I know what I'll do. I'll use an older Boilermaker cartridge to create some cute little grass right here in this empty space and use some of these stickers. Okay, so these items are wildly out of scale, but I don't care. It's cute. It adds a little bit of green color to match that gorgeous grass and fills that space a little bit. So we've got another page to put a page protector on. I'm doing these as I go along in this album because I know with Jeff's retirement albums, I spent probably a good hour putting on page protectors, it felt like, and this way I can attach the pockets. I'm using a lot of pockets and brochure pockets, so this will help me get it completed. And now time for the peekaboo pocket, which I'll need to add a tab to. Now, I got some comments, some people put them like this, which is fine also, and that lets you get it towards the edge if you want it that way. That is fine, and I put mine down this way because I like how they lie so flat, but there's an argument that either one would certainly work. I kind of like the overlap I have right here. I may not put a tab because I don't want to cover up anything down here. I could cover up this, but then it's going to cover up that part of the postcard. So I think I may just leave it as it is. And with that, my 4 pages on the Baltimore Orioles game are now done. Very simple, lots of photos, and lots of journaling. Wow, just wow. That was chaotic scrapbooking. 4 pages complete. Finished another 2, but that was really all I had time for this week. I've had to switch my focus to my 2 major deadlines coming up. My presentation at Crop and Connect Atlanta and a project playbook I'm working on for a new collection from Creative Memories. I've got 3 more days of this 15-day road trip left to scrapbook, which, if I stick to my power layout, will be just 22 pages. And I'm attending Crop and Connect Atlanta this week. It's a 4-day retreat. 2 days are training and 2 days are nothing but scrapbooking. I can do 22 pages in 2 days easily, right? So I've got a clear-cut goal to finish this album this week. Can I do it? What do you think? You'll find out next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.